Joe Biden just threw a spanner in the works of justice. He issued a presidential pardon yesterday for his son, Hunter Biden. Hunter was charged with 2 crimes. He lied to buy a gun and he evaded taxes. He was found guilty of both these crimes by the American judiciary after due legal process. And all of this happened during Biden's presidency. And later this month, Hunter was about to be sentenced in both these crimes. But now US President Joe Biden has pardoned his son. He had promised not to do this on multiple occasions. He said the law was the same for all, so he would not pardon his son Hunter. He said this when he became president, when he was running for re-election, after he dropped out in favor of Kamala Harris, and again after she lost to Donald Trump. Joe Biden kept saying the same thing for years, that he believed in the US justice system and that he would accept the outcome in Hunter's cases. But as D-Day was approaching, Biden got cold feet and he decided to save his son. Joe Biden put out a statement yesterday. He tried to explain his decision to the American people. It's a long statement. I won't read it out to you, not the entire thing. But I do want to highlight some parts, starting with this one. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision-making, and I kept my word even as I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. It's a bit rich to say you kept your word while breaking it. Then he says, and I'm quoting again, "It is clear that Hunter was treated differently. I also believe raw politics has infected this process." Now, Biden may have a point here. His political opponents have been after Hunter Biden for years. Since 2018, they finally got Hunter on 2 cases. He was convicted for lying on a gun purchase form. The form asked if he was a drug user. Hunter lied and said that he was not a drug user. This happened in 2018, and he was found guilty, pronounced guilty earlier this year, in 2024. Now, Hunter is not the first American drug user to lie while buying a gun. Usually, these cases do not end in prison terms, not unless the drug user attacks someone. But Hunter Biden was likely to face jail time. While that's perfectly legal, Joe Biden says this was selective prosecution. Hunter Biden was also convicted of another crime for not paying about $1.4 million in taxes. He pleaded guilty to that in September. He agreed that he had evaded taxes. But then he paid off his dues, interest on them, and a fine for the tax evasion. He paid all of that. So Joe Biden argues that when people do this, they're usually given non-criminal resolutions. But Hunter Biden was most likely going to jail. So President Biden said this was selective prosecution. Both cases are being handled by a prosecutor who was appointed by former President Donald Trump. So yes, there may be some political bias. That's what Biden has used to justify the pardon. But here's the problem with all these excuses. It is legal for a president to appoint a prosecutor in the US. Every president does it. Biden has done it too. That's the system there. And while Hunter's punishment may seem harsh, it is also perfectly legal.